Richard Joseph Daley, May 15, 1902, December 20, 1976, was an American politician who served as the mayor of Chicago from 1955 and the chairman of the Cook County Democratic Party Central Committee from 1953 until his death. He has been called the last of the big city bosses who controlled and mobilized American cities. Daley was Chicago's third consecutive mayor from the working class, heavily Irish-American South Side neighborhood of Bridgeport, where he lived his entire life. He was the patriarch of the Daley family, whose members include Richard M. Daley, another former mayor of Chicago, William M. Daley, a former United States Secretary of Commerce, John P. Daley, a member of the Cook County Board of Commissioners, and Patrick Daley Thompson, a former alderman of the Chicago City Council. Daley is remembered for doing much to save Chicago from the declines that other Rust Belt cities such as Cleveland, Buffalo, and Detroit experienced during the same period. He had a strong base of support in Chicago's Irish Catholic community and was treated by national politicians such as Lyndon B. Johnson as a preeminent Irish American, with special connections to the Kennedy family. Daley played a major role in the history of the Democratic Party, especially with his support of John F. Kennedy in the presidential election of 1960 and of Hubert Humphrey in the presidential election of 1968. He would be the longest-serving mayor in Chicago history until his record was broken by his son Richard M. Daley in 2011. On the other hand, Daley's legacy is complicated by criticisms of his response to the Chicago riots that followed the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. and his handling of the notorious 1968 Democratic National Convention that happened in his city. He also had enemies within the Democratic Party. In addition, many members of Daley's administration were charged and convicted for corruption, although Daley himself was never charged with any crime. Daley's career in politics began when he became a Democratic precinct captain. Having served as secretary for previous county treasurers Joseph B. McDonough, Thomas D. Nash, Robert M. Schweitzer, and Joseph L. Gill, he was appointed the chief deputy comptroller of Cook County on December 17, 1936 to replace Michael J. O'Connor, who had died on December 9. Daley's first elective office was in the Illinois House of Representatives, to which he was elected for the 9th District on November 3, 1936, alongside Democratic incumbents William J. Gormley and Peter P. Jezierny. Despite being a lifelong Democrat, he was elected to the office as a Republican. This was a matter of political opportunism and the peculiar setup for legislative elections in Illinois at the time, which allowed Daley to take the place on the ballot of the recently deceased Republican candidate David Shanahan. Daley's name was not printed on the ballot due to the closeness of Shanahan's death to the election, but he was able to defeat Shanahan's friend Robert E. Rogers. After his election, Daley quickly moved back to the Democratic side of the aisle. After the death of incumbent Democratic Senator Patrick J. Carroll in 1938, Daley was elected to the Illinois Senate. That year Gormley and Jezierny were successfully re-elected with Republican William S. Finnegan taking the third spot. In 1939, Illinois State Senator William Bocce Connors remarked of Daley, "You couldn't give that guy a nickel, that's how honest he is." Daley served as minority leader of the Illinois Senate from 1941 through 1946. He suffered his only political defeat in 1946, when he lost a bid to become Cook County Sheriff. In the late 1940s, Daley became Democratic Ward Committeeman of the 11th Ward, a post he retained until his death. He was appointed by Governor Adlai Stevenson II as head of the Illinois Department of Finance, serving in that role from 1949 through 1950. The year he made a successful run for Cook County Clerk. Daley held that position until being elected Chicago's mayor. Daley became chairman of the Central Committee of the Cook County Democratic Party, i.e. boss of the political machine, in 1953. Holding this position along with the mayoralty in later years enhanced Daley's power. A recorded phone conversation which Daley had with President Lyndon Johnson on January 27, 1968, revealed that despite his Irish Catholic background, he also privately had at times tense relations with the Kennedy family and that he declined an offer to vote against President Harry Truman when he was serving as a delegate at the 1948 Democratic National Convention. Shortly after 2 p.m. on December 20, 1976, Daley collapsed on the city's near north side while on his way to lunch. He was rushed to the office of his private physician at 900 North Michigan Avenue. It was confirmed that Daley had suffered a massive heart attack and he was pronounced dead at 2:55 p.m. He was 74 years old. Daley's funeral took place in the church he attended since his childhood, Nativity of Our Lord. He is buried in Holy Sepulchre Cemetery in Worth Township, southwest of Chicago.